Are we starting?
Oh, we've been starting.
Oh!
All right, here's where I shouldn't say fall in love. It's a bad way to start
Not for me.
podcast. But here's when I fell in love with you and went, oh. And this was up in Vancouver. It was the height of the COVID pandemic.
Yeah.
But people were starting to shoot again. And you were working with Kristen Schaal.
Yeah.
Mary was up doing Zoe's Extraordinary Playlist.
That's right.
And you literally were basically allowed to go to your home, go to work, and that was it.
Yeah.
And it was scary.
Yeah.
And rightfully so, but also lonely.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
And we formed this little group,
Yeah.
Saturday night dinner group.
Yes.
And I had never hung out with you before, but it was a combination of the euphoria of being able to be with people without masks.
Yes.
Because we were all being safe.
Very safe.
And socializing. It was like, it was like Christmas.
Yeah. I can't
Every
tell you how
Saturday.
much, I mean, that was, 2020 maybe. But I looked, so we were doing, Chris and I were doing this show called The Mysterious Benedict Society. And back then, because of COVID, your set was separated into zones. So
Right.
it was like A zones, B, C, D. And if anybody in your zone got COVID, then the whole zone was taken out. So you just were walking on eggshells all week. And also as the performers, there was a deep fear of like, if I get sick, then no one works.
Right.
Because
Right. All the zones
they
shut
can't,
down.
all the zones shut down. So there was this kind of anxiety. So knowing that we had this pod on Saturday, where
Right.
it was the time that I could freely laugh with people, it wasn't over Zoom. We had just met, and it was just, I think Mary brought her keyboard and would sing songs.
Yes.
And Kristen and Rich's little girl was there. And we just, I mean, because I was away from my family. I was there for 6 months, and I took this job for, I'm always so grateful for a gig. I took this job, and then COVID hit, and I still had this job, and the borders shut, so I couldn't go home.
Because that's what you envision when you take a job in Vancouver. I'll be home for the weekend.
Yeah,
It's
just
a
be home for the
3-hour
weekends.
ride, same
Yeah.
time zone.
Yeah, and then COVID hit, and so I was stuck out there. So we had Thanksgiving, Christmas, all togetger.
Because you stayed longer, I think, than Mary and I did. Because you guys
Yeah.
went on shooting.
And we
for
always
quite a while.
loved coming to your house because it was the nice place. And because ours was just gross. And we were like, let's go to Ted and Mary's. Their place is much nicer.
It was a brand new build.
Mm-hmm.
And it looked like, and there's no art on the walls, and it looked like an upside down, you were living in an upside down wedding cake
Yeah,
for
that's
some
what it
reason.
did.
It was very strange.
Had like
and
a
wonderful.
screening room and stuff, so we would
Yeah.
watch movies, and
Yeah.
it was just such a slice of heaven in the midst of like a lot of chaos.
Yeah.
Oh, it was so nice.
It really was.
Yeah. And then we've been wanting to do a reunion, but everybody kind of has gotten busy and stuff like that. And now their little girl she's already like 8 or 9.
And now,
Yeah.
our goddaughter.
Oh,
And
I didn't know that.
Yeah. And Rich, who I adore,
Oh my gosh. He's just a quiet saint.
husband of Kristen Schaal.
Yeah. Great cook.
Very good cook. We used to love going to his house kind of the most.
Yeah.
Sorry, Mary.
Yeah.
That came out poorly. Sorry.
It was we always celebrated birthdays, and everybody, I don't know, I remember Mary bringing a great cake. Oh, puzzles. There was also a puzzle situation there.
Yes.
Oh, it's just great.
And Kristen, for her birthday, I wasn't here for that one. I went back down, but she wanted a fried ice cream something where you had to take ice cream and then fry. It was like breaded, and then you fry it, and then you cover it with chocolate. Anyhow, it's nice to see you again.
Really nice to see you. Really nice to see you.
One thing I saw recently, first off, the trailer of you and another one of my favorite women, D'Arcy Carden.
Yes, she says hi. She knows coming today. And she was like, tell Dad I said hi.
Adore her.
She's the best. She's the best. So she plays my sister in this movie sketch. And
That looks
Ted,
fantastic.
it's so special, man. It's taken us 8 years to get this made. And so like 8 years ago, the director and writer Seth Worley came to me with this idea. And it was just, we went back and forth, and he had written the script. We went back and forth, like tweaking and coming up with ideas, and then trying to find financing. It was going to be
Who's we? Just you?
me
this
and
time?
Seth, the writer-director.
Right.
trying to find financing, and then it was going to be a TV show at one point, then a film, and then as you know, like finally the money comes in, and then you're shooting 3 months later after 8 years. No, sorry, after like 6 years, and then it was like 2.5 years in post because there's a lot of special effects, and then D'Arcy came on board, and it's such a beautiful film.
Can you? I mean, in the trailer, I got a glimpse of what it is. I'm not quite sure I saw everything that happens in the turn.
Sure.
But it looks sweet, funny, and then scarier than all get out in a kid-friendly way. Is it kid-friendly? Because your actors are a lot of kids.
Yes. And we just, okay, so the basis of it is I play a single dad he's very worried because his daughter is just drawing these comically dark pictures. And after something that happens, they end up coming to life.
Right.
And so we describe it like Inside Out meets Jurassic Park. And it's because it's this really fun family movie with these really deep themes of processing feelings. Because in the movie, my wife has passed away. And it is so well done, Ted. It is so, Seth Worley has done such a beautiful job. And it's after 8 years, it just feels like you're launching something and you're like, oh, please.
Yeah.
Please come, you know.
It's going
on August 6th. On August 6th, it's going to be in theaters. Yeah. And it's great. And D'Arcy is just, as you know, so natural and funny. And and you guys on Good Place were just like magic.
We'll get to me in a minute.
Let's circle back.
What is her relationship to you who have lost your
she's my sister.
Sorry,
she's my sister.
And the aunt of these troubled daughter or kids?
The daughter's going through it, and then there's my daughter and son. And it's just the big theme of it is me as a dad just not knowing what to do with these emotions, you know, and she's right. And it kind of came from really quickly. The director's sister, when she was younger, was also drawing. This is a true story. Was also drawing these pictures. They were pretty dark, and they took her to a therapist. And the therapist asked her, because it was a bullying situation, and said, "Do you want these things to happen?" And she was honest, and she said yes. And the therapist said, "Well, I think it's a really good idea. You drew them out rather than did them." And it talked, because then she showed her a blank page and said, because what we don't want is this blank page and everything festering and living in your head. And it was just that sense of like this, having so many different creative ways to process feelings and stuff. And
giving license.
And giving license to it. And not, as a parent, of course it's jarring at first. You're like, but just allowing that process, like that's its own process. But it's so fun. The movie's just great. Really great.
Who did you go to for the animation part? Not the animation, but the...
Yeah, Seth Worley, the writer and director, has a history of special effects, and he did a lot of them. And then we took them, and then he farmed them out at the end because the work got too big. But this is what's so cool. When she draws these monsters and they come to life, they don't look CGI. They don't look AI. You can see that a kid drew them. So it's like you see the crayons, you see the markers, the chalk.
Great. Oh, that's great. I didn't see that.
Yeah, and it's like you see the elements of that what she uses. And it's, I mean, I'm such a fan of this movie, you know, and what he's done. So I'm excited. But it's weird, man. It's like, you know, it's just the launching of it is like, ooh.
Are you going around talking to a lot of folks and everything?
Yeah. And then what's cool is we're going to do a screening at home with family and, you know, all that stuff, which will be really special.
That's fantastic. Yeah. Well, good luck with it. Because it really genuinely, I went, oh, shoot, I want to see this.
Yeah, please. I think you would love it. And I think you and Mary would love it. Really love it.
Sure.
You're busy, man.
Kind of. You know, all actors look way busier.
Sure.
Because
totally.
But if you count the days of the year, it's like living the life of Riley.
And it's weird where if you're promoting something, like say like in a summer, like or a season, 2 or 3 things come out, it does look like, golly, you're working nonstop. But there is so much time of hustle and just like, did I get that? Oh, I didn't get that. We're signing up. We've signed up for a career of rejection. That's just
How are you with watching your work?
I love it. No.
Well, yes, but
is it a loop in my home? My daughter's like, Dad. I'm like, more. No,
there's some truth in that joke, but it takes me forever to get there.
I have a harder time. I don't know if you're like this. I have a harder time watching myself on talk shows or something like this than I do in a scripted thing. Because like Veep, I kind of have a bit of an emotional detachment of it. It's like, I had such a great time, but I can kind of disengage. This is like I'm watching me,
Yes.
I mean, don't think there wasn't like impulse for me to do this. Just because I could feel myself. My sister once saw me on Fallon and she says, Anthony, she calls me Anthony. She says, don't take this the wrong way, but you look like a buzzard. And I was like, how in the hell do I not take that the wrong way? And then I saw it and she was right. I was like, Jimmy. How you doing, Jimmy? It was just this like insect back.
What's sad is I know about posture because I'm of the age where my spine is wanting to kind of do that.
Totally.
So I go way out of my way to stand erect and all of that. And I watched myself recently and was like, fuck, I'm hunched.
Totally. I remember on Arrested Development years ago, Tommy Toon was guest starring. And he was probably like in his mid-70s, and he was just gliding across the room.
Yeah.
Just tall and just statuesque. And I was like, damn, that's a guy who is really focused on that posture. And he's a dancer, so that helps.
That's Jane Fonda when you ask her the secret of anything. She throws in posture as one of the most important things.
I mean, it makes sense.
Yeah.
If it just happened naturally, I'd love it.
Yeah, no, it's a workout.
But also I remember on Veep, Gary, my character, was so worshipped Selena that she, obviously Julia's shorter than I am. So the fact that he was taller than her, he just hated it. If he could somehow cut off a foot of his body so that he could be under her, that would be his ideal. So I was constantly just trying to get lower than her. And then I'd come home and I'd be like, I got to straighten up. Like, this is rough.
I know it's like you always want people to pick something grand in your work to talk about in this moment. But this was grand, and I watched it 3 or 4 times. The Oscar, Julia's Oscar acceptance.
The Emmy one?
Sorry,
Emmy. Yeah.
And you in character stood behind her. But you are a master of you were throwing focus, just like you would to her character in the show.
Sure.
But you could see it coming. You could see it like... oh, she's losing it. Oh, I better step in. And it made me think about what you said somewhere about the Carol Burnett show.
Yeah.
And watching Tim
Conway, yeah.
Who could, with a shift of his eyes, make you have hysterics. But
Bob,
you are that actor. You are your physicality, your reactions to stuff that's happening in front of us is really spectacular.
Coming from you, that means a lot. I you can't receive it. It was him and Bob Newhart, actually.
Yeah.
Because I would watch the Newhart show and he would have so much tension in his body and would just be standing there. And there was something about him darting his eyes or something. You just lost it because you could feel that release. And then Tim Conway, damn, just even talking about him, he brought me so much joy because he never forced the comedy. It was just so fluid. And I mean, there's so many things, like when he's at the dentist chair with Harvey Korman and he accidentally he actually numbs himself, and it just constantly, like, arms are going limp and legs are going limp, and it's just so genius. And there's that famous blooper. I don't know if you're like this. I watch blooper reels more than I watch shows, but there's this famous blooper where they're all sitting on the couch during Mama's Family. Do you know what I'm about to talk about?
Yeah.
It was Carol and her and Tim on the side, and Tim was just going on and on ad-libbing, and Mama goes, "Is that asshole finished?" And they all just fell off the couch. And it was so full of joy. Yeah. It was just so full of joy. And Tim constantly was making Harvey laugh. And he would walk slowly across the stage as the old man. And just there was such...
And there was such
restraint
to see that the other characters break up.
And Carol, some of my favorite stuff she ever did was when she would talk to the audience at the end.
Well, you saw, I mean, not only was she a comedic genius, but you saw her heart because that was not planned. That was not staged. Whatever happened, happened.
And she was very much like you, where it's like you have to receive this, Ted, but you're a very kind soul thinking about others and also an actor. You're not about yourself. And you can see in Carol, she really cared for her cast. She took care of them.
Yes.
Like that's very apparent in the work.
Yeah. And let everyone shine.
Yes. You don't do that, but like she did that.
That's actually a bad move. She's not on the air anymore, so clearly it didn't work.
Carol, take some lessons from Ted.
I got to hang out with her a little bit, and royalty.
Yeah, did she did Julia's podcast, That Wiser Than Me.
That's right.
And she just you can hear the humility in her voice of and just lessons learned, and also she's had a really tough life. She's been through a lot.
Yep, she has.
Really quick, it makes me think
let's talk about your tough life. Sorry.
Please. Open wound.
What were you going to say about me?
No, I was... There was a time in Cheers that, it made me think of like Bob and Tim and his anxiety. There's something about, as comic actors, you almost using what we've been through in life for good and funny, because I've dealt with anxiety and like sitting in that tension. Because when I've had panic attacks in my past, and when you've had anxiety, it's not a show. It's not like a da 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 da. It's an internal battle, and you're trying to calm yourself down. And so when you're sitting in that tension, going through it is crap. But with comedy, it's, I think, the funniest thing to watch.
Somebody trying
keep
desperately to be present in a moment of terror or panic or anxiety. Yeah.
And you can just see it in the eyes, Anyways.
Character-wise, you're talking about not somebody literally having a meltdown. You're talking about using that.
I'm so sorry. What if that's what I meant? What if it's like, I love to watch YouTube videos of people having panic attacks. It is the biggest laugh.
I have one of those to this day. I'll have one of those a year.
Yeah.
Performing.
Sure.
And just high school, having trouble breathing.
Oh, I'm so sorry.
I hope no one sees this.
Yeah. And no one knows what's going on in my head. Yeah, it's awful. I have such empathy for people that really deal with it. It's so terrifying,
It is. The thing that's kind of calming, if you can get your brain there, is if something was real, you would deal with it.
Yeah.
And when you realize that this terror and panic is not based on somebody cut your hand off or here comes a monster, literally, then you would deal with that. But I somehow
do you know that's
reassuring.
Back to my work.
Hold on one sec. Okay, go ahead.
Thank you.
I have to shift gears.
No, that's why I loved Inside Out, is because they made a very distinct difference between fear and anxiety in the movie. Fear is what responds to actually what's in front of you.
Yes.
Anxiety was a perceived what narrative you form, what could happen.
Yeah.
And so
that's great.
Because right when I came in, I was like, that's interesting. You guys have both, and they made that very distinct. And I will live in anxiety. I'll have all these narratives and all these safety plans of what could happen when more than not they don't happen.
Was that with you as a kid?
Yeah. I was a kid. I think at the time, anxiety was not really talked about back then. So I think I was more like, I was a very energetic kid, just wanted a lot of attention, and then just somehow managing anxiety. And I think nowadays, people having a language for it, what a great gift to these kids. But back then, we didn't really talk about it.
No.
I did this show in San Francisco, actually right before Vancouver. And it was a one-man show, and I was absolutely petrified. It was at the American Conservatory Theater. And I remember rehearsing, and in my mind thinking, we can rehearse, but I'm going to have a panic attack in front of 1,000 people. So it's like, we can do this, but this is going to spiral out. And I remember my therapist, it was just something I had never thought about. He said, before you go on, he started getting me in the practice of when you start feeling those feelings, start having compassion for them. And he said, thank them. And so I would, whenever that voice would come in and been like, get ready, you're about to have a panic attack, I would always say, hey, I appreciate you being here. I know you're trying to help. I'm going to go do the show, but I just wanted to say,
and I promise I'll revisit your panic.
Yeah. But like, almost like, come alongside. I really appreciate that. Because before I'd been like, buck up. They're not there. Whatever it takes.
It's really great advice.
Yeah. And embracing them, it was still there. That anxiety was still there. And I even had somebody off stage just in case I forgot a line. But it just dissipated that sting of it, which was nice.
I've heard of some actors who got so burned by that moment that they forever wore an earwig or, and I can totally understand
Totally understand.
Tell me how you got Arrested Development. Tell me about that.
So, I was in 95, I moved to New York and I didn't know anybody. And so I just started looking, remember Backstage magazine?
Yes.
Yeah. So I would get Backstage every week and I would circle, anytime I saw the word quirky, I was like, quirky. But I would just, and my very first show was Shakespeare in the Parking Lot, where I did Shakespeare in the Parking Lot in a parking lot in the East Village.
And you would make your entrances sometimes from a
taxi cab. And then I had every job under the sun, so many jobs. And actually, randomly, I was at this temp agency that I would go every morning because you didn't want to get a long-term commitment because you had to be available for auditions. So I would sit in this room and it was a purple room. And I remember they would always play Jim Carrey movies every single day. And they would send me on, they would always send me to Condé Nast. So it was like this guy who looked like a bad Gap ad, just like walking into like Vogue because they needed a warm body just to sit. And it was so bizarre. So I did that. And then I started getting in like an agent and I got commercials.
Right.
And, or I started auditioning for commercials. And my type was not all there. That's what they would say.
And how did you know that? That was the description
that
of
was
the
my
character
description, like
that you ended up getting.
Or they would describe me as.
Right.
Are you guys looking for a character that's kind of not all there? Tony Hale.
Yeah.
And they would also say, he's like David Schwimmer, but not that good looking.
Keep doing that because I loved what you wrote.
Did I write that down?
You wrote that down, they're not so good looking. But what about those people out there who don't think David Schwimmer is?
I know. I was like, okay, well.
Then I'm really fucked.
I mean, it would be one thing if it was Brad Pitt, but not as good looking, but like, all right. But anyways, David, you're an attractive dude. But then I started getting commercials. And so then I didn't have as many of jobs. And then the commercials kind of became my main thing. And a commercial,
Volkswagen.
I did Volkswagen, and a commercial casting director named Marcia DeBonis. She was casting Arrested Development, and she saw the description. He's not all there. He's kind of checked out. She's like, I know a guy, and so brought me in, and I remember because Buster always massaged people's shoulders. That was a part of his bit, and so I was massaging my knees, and I think the camera stopped here, and Mitch Hurwitz was like, what is he doing down there? And so then they flew me out, and I was able to get it.
This was on tape.
This was on tape, because back then, you just, you sent VHS tapes back and forth from New York to LA.
Yeah. But you did it in person. You did show up. You weren't doing that thing they're doing now where you self.
No. Yeah, because woof. And then, so I auditioned in person in New York, and then they flew me out to meet the network and stuff. Right. And I was so nervous, but yeah. And so then we ended up shooting. I remember we ended up shooting the pilot after I got cast, right after I went out there, and I didn't know we were going to do that. And I remember having to go to Old Navy to buy underwear because I ran out of underwear. That's like a very strong memory. But it was a great cast. And I was also so overwhelmed, and it seems
excited,
like a bit
overwhelmed, or just can I do it, or am I?
It was excited, but it was more overwhelmed. Like I remember so I shot the pilot, and then I was engaged to be married, and then 10 days before we got married, the show got picked up, and I was like, sweetheart, I think we're moving to LA. So everything was just kind of happening fast. Yeah. I had never been on a studio lot.
This was your first LA.
This was my first thing in LA.
Oh, wow.
And I'd never been on a studio lot. I didn't know what a manager did. I didn't know what a publicist, I just didn't know anything.
Right.
And so it kind of worked because I'm playing Buster, who's just overwhelmed and wide-eyed, not quite there. I mean, I could not have played a confident character then, you know?
Yeah. Wow.
Yeah. But it's also, and when you have great writing, it's just like, it was so, just the situations they gave me of like, okay, by the way, Liza Minnelli is going to be your girlfriend. Oh, by the way, a seal is going to bite off your hand. All these like...
You must have been in heaven.
Heaven. And at the same time, like, what? Like, okay, that's great. Tobias was my favorite character who David Cross played. My favorite joke was him joining the Blue Man Group because he thought it was a support group for depressed men.
I forgot that.
And just like, but that kind of those kind of layers of comedy, back then, no one, comedy was so good, but it wasn't something you really had to think about. It was just kind of a 1-2 joke. Like everybody kind of got the joke.
Yeah.
Arrested was almost like a drama where you had to think about it. Like there was layers to like stuff, and then you had to rewind it. Be like, what does that mean? And it
challenged you.
Yeah, it was like a grid that hadn't been really done much.
Yeah. We're both very blessed. There's so many similarities. I started off in New York, not just doing commercials, being the extra in the back of the commercials.
Yeah.
There's actually a clip of me playing a lemon chiffon box, which meant of some pudding. So I had the box and the lemon-colored cowl and my tights, and I would do anything. I was enamored. I loved my acting class. I was studying with somebody who had gone to the neighborhood playhouse and then started teaching.
Yeah,
and I was dedicated student, and I just loved it. I almost didn't care, except that I needed to make money to survive. I didn't care whether I was being hired or whether I was doing a scene in class. I just loved it.
Yeah.
So I started commercials and then got lucky after time and got Cheers. But we both kind of were in writer royalty, people who really...
Totally.
What a great kind of, you will always have that.
Yeah, you felt
kind of
taken
platform.
care of with the writing, which was nice. It wasn't something you felt like you had to come in and go,
How can I make this better?
How can I make this better? Yeah. I always put you in the category of like Henry Winkler, where such longevity in the business and staying kind and humble and like giving to
people.
He's
not kind.
Is he an ass?
More facade.
Am I just learning now he's an ass?
Facade with Henry.
Oh man, he's a really good actor because he's been so kind to me.
He is one of the nicest.
He's the nicest guy. But what is that? I mean,
well, you can tell it's not real for me because I immediately attacked the person you put me.
No, but is it something that I don't know how you even answer that, but is it something you were taught as a kid or just...
You're not nice. You're not nice.
Oh, no. I do think, but is it something like a gratefulness that you always practiced that kind of kept you having...
I think later when you become successful and you're nice, then you're working at staying grateful.
Yeah.
And not taking things for granted or assuming that this will come your way or stuff. Then you do need to work.
Yeah.
To stay humble and...
Yeah. And present.
I'm one of the most actually humble people. No, that's...
really?
Well, wait a minute.
Am I meeting the most humble person in Hollywood?
I blew it. I knew it.
It's funny. I've never met a humble person that announces they're humble, but great. Yeah. This is a first for me.
So you're not into that competitive meditation thing either, probably.
Okay, this is my last question because I
No, this is fun. Ask me. I'm so tired of...
So if you, I know you get this question all the time, but coming from you, a kid who's in their late 20s who wants the same kind of longevity that you've had, what advice do you give them?
I shouldn't, I would give advice and I always get suckered into it. But, the only thing, even if it's not the longevity thing, but just how do you get started or whatever.
Yeah.
Find the joy of creativity. If you really want to be an actor, go act. And if you decide you can't do anything but this, then you'll be fine. You'll do well. But stay,
creative.
Yeah. And study. Don't,
Where did you study?
Carnegie Mellon.
Did you really?
Stanford, I fell in love, took an acting class and just went, whoa.
Wow.
Yeah.
My friend Dusty Brown went to Carnegie Mellon. It's a great. And my other friend's daughter is going there now. It's a great program.
I mean, now it's become this feeder for Broadway musicals. They didn't have music when I was there, thank God.
Yeah, then there's small classes. I've heard they're not big classes.
It's a really good thing. And then I went to New York, and I was so scared.
Yeah,
and I went straight to Juilliard, and I remember the very sweet, what's his name? Sorry, I'm blanking. John Houseman.
Oh yeah,
thank you, John Houseman, who was so sweet and said, "I tell you what, if you still feel this way," because he could tell that New York City was scaring the shit out of me, and I wanted to, And keep the burp too. Tony just burped in the middle of my.
Burped.
I was talking about something.
This is why I should not be drinking Diet Coke. I need to get back to water.
Bodily functions are my favorite thing. Do you acknowledge farts in your family?
We don't acknowledge them, but we freely let them go.
Oh, it's such a source of humor for us.
Is it really?
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah. Please feel free.
No need.
You're like already 5 times today.
Today, did you say? Or are you so naive?
I do love that because I studied the Barrow Group. Did you ever hear of the Barrow Group in New York?
But help me.
Well, first of all, let me back up. I remember studying, I won't say his name, but there was an acting teacher I went to, and there was such an eggshell environment in the class.
Was the neighborhood playhousey?
No.
Somebody from
but
that.
It was, everybody was just trying to please him.
Right. Bengali teacher.
Yeah. And it was kind of like, there was no freedom and just tension and like, did he like it? Did he like it? I don't know if he liked it. And then I went to the Barrow Group and it was like, oh, this is supposed to be play.
Yeah. How wonderful.
This is, and it was like, that had not even entered my mind. It was all great work. Your work's amazing. Your work. And it was this heaviness to it.
Yeah.
And that play was absent.
Yeah, I think it took me a while to get to the play part.
Yeah.
Because it was such a big deal. It was very significant. And yeah, you were outraged that John Wayne won the Academy Award and not, what was it? Midnight Cowboy, Dustin Hoffman. Can we talk about faith?
Oh, sure.
Really? How wonderful. Because I know it's a big part of your life.
It is a part
And it was
of my life,
even a big part of your life when you were in New York.
Yeah.
Didn't you start something about creativity for faith-based people?
Yeah.
Did I say that wrong?
No, I'm kidding. I just love it. I'm going to start using it. It's true. When I moved to New York, well, my faith is very important to me. And I would say.
As a kid?
As a kid, not so much. As a kid, I was raised Baptist, so it was kind of a bit of a, again, nothing against Baptists, but it was a little more of just what you did in the South. It wasn't really a personal faith. And then in college, I went through a pretty difficult time where I really hit this place where it's like, oh, are you really who you say you are? Can I lean on you, this God that I've heard about? And that was the time when I think my faith started becoming really real to me, because there was more of like a father, a presence, and it kind of got more concrete for me.
And were you all on your own, or was there a mentor or a book or
I started reading a lot of C.S. Lewis. And then when I moved to New York, I would go hear Tim Keller, who was a really great teacher. And in New York, it's a very cynical audience. So with a lot of questions, which I think God is not afraid of our questions. I continue asking questions and I continue screaming at him and all that stuff. But Tim was very open to questions, and I just appreciated that.
Was Tim a theologian or
he was a pastor. He was just for this church Redeemer. So when I moved to New York, I met a bunch of people who were artists, and their faith was also really important to them, and we just wanted to support each other and see each other's work. And then also, since we're selling ourselves so much, we wanted to do these projects just to get our eyes off of ourselves. And if I'm honest, it was really, I mainly just didn't know anybody, and I just was wanting to meet friends. So that kind of how that started.
But that thought
was a long circle to get there.
Thank you for doing it. It's so strange that all of us went talking about our faith or our spiritual center or whatever it is that, higher self, or I'm doing it right now. I'm kind of equivocating, whatever that relationship is.
Yeah, sure.
Is slightly embarrassing, or you don't want to put it out in a wrong way or something. It's too bad.
Yeah, and it's so, like, for instance, when somebody finds out that my faith is very important to me, I never am surprised if I get a reaction of anger or maybe I'm dumb or something, because there's so many different filters people are looking at to my faith. Religious trauma, so many things have been done and said in the name of God. And it's just like, it breaks my heart, but that's the filter they're looking at through to my stuff. So if anything, I'm just so curious about their experience. And many times I've apologized. Like, I'm so sorry that was said to you or done to you.
Right.
And that this person calls himself a person of faith. That is not like, I mean, Christ in the scripture says the fruit of the Spirit is love, joy, peace, patience, kindness, goodness, faithfulness, gentleness, and self-control. I may be working on 2 or 3 of those on a good day, right?
Right.
But when somebody is not exhibiting any of them and is doing these actions that are completely against that, that's not in the faith category, in my opinion, you know? So if they're open to the conversation, it's like really, I love hearing their story.
I think you challenge people, because if you're calmly, not happily, but very centered in what it is that your faith, which sounds to me like I'm putting my thing on it, so forgive me if I am.
No, please.
That faith is a living, everyday wake up.
Yeah.
Challenge yourself
Absolutely.
to be in that, trajectory.
Yeah. In a relationship.
Yes, in a relationship that's ever, evolving all the time.
Yeah.
If you bump into somebody it's a very rigid thing for them, I'm sure it's a challenge. But that's the good thing about what I was really looking forward to talking to you today.
Sure.
Because I knew that you put it out, that your faith is a very important part of your life. To me, that's the most important conversation I think you could possibly have.
Oh.
So if people bump into you and get angry or this or that, it's still an amazing service.
Oh, well, thanks.
Not that that's why you do it, but it is a service to them.
Well, thanks for saying that. I mean, I just recently had something where something happened to somebody that was really awful. And they were asking, like, how could God allow this to happen? And I think in my younger years, I probably would have tried to come up with the perfect answer, thinking I had to defend or something. And I just simply, I said, I don't know. I don't know, but I do know a lot of people who have been through really, really hard things. And it's wild to watch how their relationship with God has gotten stronger. And I can't explain it. I don't know how that happens, but I've seen that happen.
And isn't that partly the definition of faith?
Yeah.
It's not evidence, it's called faith.
Sure. Yeah.
It's not
transactional,
exactly. It's called faith.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And for me, and some people might think this is a crutch, thinking, but life is hard. And there's part of me that's like, give me 2 crutches, because sometimes life is really, really hard.
Not as hard as having a faith that you declare it to be central to your life. That's much harder in a way. I mean, to say that faith is a crutch is kind of misreading, I think, what you're going to have to go through to literally, truly live in faith.
Yeah.
That's hard.
Yeah. Having faith is definitely, that's what you call blind faith. Like there's a surrender aspect of it that is many times very hard. But it's wild though, and again, I can't explain it, but when knowing that a higher power sees a bigger picture than I do is incredibly comforting. And having had the experience of leaning on this presence and crying to this presence and just being still with this presence, and the strength that I get from it is, I can't explain it, but that's what keeps me going,
I'm really grateful we're talking about this.
Sure.
Actually.
Sorry.
None, please.
I need to burp. I need to burp again to really get this going.
One of the most important, conversations I think you can have, especially nowadays.
Yeah.
We don't have to get political and everything, but it is a tough time. There's a lot of suffering.
There's a lot of suffering
going, and fear.
Yeah.
Especially here in LA. Maybe it's true. It's probably true everywhere, but LA is really tough.
Yeah, there's a great author I love he's passed, but his name's Henry Nouwen, and I've been reading his book called The Inner Voice of Love, and it's a kind of his journal, and he was a Catholic priest who worked with people with disabilities and himself had many, many struggles. And just his honesty of the simple honesty he gives and his truthfulness is such a balm to me. This is where my memory kicks in, because at my desk at home, I have all of these Post-its taped to the walls of just stuff he said. And I, for the life of me, can't remember one of them right now. Now I'm having that stage fright moment of it's all gone. I need
It's fun. It makes for a nice break. And a few minutes later, it'll come back.
I need my cue person off stage. It's like, Tony, Henry Nouwen said this.
I'm waiting for Apple glasses that will have a facial recognition. They'll go, that's Tony Hale.
Oh, gosh.
Ted, that's Tony Hale, and you like him.
Dude, what a great...
Yeah.
That's like its own Devil Wears Prada, where you're whispering in her ear about the person. I never thought about that.
That's you and Veep.
That's me and Veep. Also, do you ever want, when I'm talking to somebody, I want that notepad on the iPhone that I can make a note of it?
Yes.
Because the minute it's my turn to speak in a conversation, it's gone. And then I'm like, I had something to say, and I'm sure I've done that twice or 3 times this time.
I love the moment. Let's have one right now where we both just who's going to break
blank
first? Wow.
Did you break a lot on Good Place?
No, I don't break.
Do you not?
No, if I get tired, punchy, I will start breaking.
That's a supernatural strength right there, I think.
I'm so, I need every brain cell to be able to remember where I am and what I'm doing, what's going on. I have, and other people don't make me break. Sometimes.
Golly, really?
No, wait, sometimes they do. That's not fair.
Julie would always say on Veep, when she would dig her nails into her hand,
right?
Just and be in so much pain just to keep it together, because when your body is literally vibrating because you can't keep it together, it is the hardest thing.
I will get giggles, but by and large, I don't. And once I get giggles, it's fine. It's like let's take 15 minutes.
Even back to Cheers, you didn't really break much.
That's different.
Yeah.
That was different. Maybe I'm just breaking less now because it's like my brain goes, no, focus.
That's good. That's good.
Yeah. There's nothing about it. On Cheers, what made us laugh the most was when you would have a joke that you all could not, during rehearsal, just couldn't stop laughing. It was the funniest moment. You couldn't wait to perform it. And you did. And there was crickets. No one laughed. And it was such a shock to your body that we'd all just stop and have hysterics and the audience wouldn't know what we were doing.
Oh man, it's always a challenge. Just I remember being on Veep and we were so desperate for response of if something is working that if we could hear the slightest chuckle behind Video Village, we were like, it was like just panting for breath. Like, oh, I think it's working. I think it's working.
Yeah, I prefer single camera. I prefer, and I think the world is heading more to with cable and all the movies we watch, that you're more likely to want to watch a single camera, I think, do comedy, and it's more relaxing to my adrenaline system.
Yeah,
because you are doing theater when you do 3 cameras.
Do you have a hard time watching heavy things?
Yes.
So do I.
Here's how hard a time I have. We're watching Sound of Music, and as soon as the Nazis come, I'm out. And Mary and I have this code. Oh, I got to go. The Nazis are coming. Nazis are coming. Unless it's more about real end of second act, major sadness coming your way.
Yeah.
In the story, I can watch certain kinds of violence, war. I'm a guy who loves watching, knowing the guy will never lose because that's what we're watching.
Yeah. Because my my wife makes fun of me because I can't watch heavy stuff like Handmaid's. I mean, I think Handmaid's Tale is such a good show. She loves it. But there are certain scenes I'm like, I can't, this is too much. Yeah. It's too heavy. And she's like, you're an actor. You know that that's not real. You've seen how the sausage is made. And I said, I know, but I know that's not happening, but I know something like that has happened somewhere in the world. And it's like I can't shake it. It's too much for me sometimes, which is, maybe it's just
I think that's good. Mary's the exact same way.
Really?
Yeah. She cannot watch. I think most of her movies haven't been that violent, but or have violence in them, but she can't do violence.
Yeah.
At all. I mean, she'll just get up. You keep watching. I've learned now that I need to mute it while she closes her eyes.
Yeah.
The sound alone would drive her nuts.
Oh, yeah. And anything with children, it's like, bye-bye, I'm out.
I'm remembering, as I'm looking at you, one quote that you said about your parents. Did they say something about Arrested Development? Yeah, just stupid.
No, they said Arrested Development. No, this is what they said. They said, our friends told us they love Arrested Development. We still don't get it. But when Martin Short was on, they were like, now he's funny.
Yeah.
And I was like, I've been on every episode. And he was on, I don't know, maybe 2? She's like, now that guy's funny. I'm like, all right, noted.
He is funny, but come on, Mom.
Oh, he's... I know, bless their heart. And Veep, like, I remember taking him to and again, they were very supportive, but I took him to this screening in DC once, and we got back in the car and my dad had notes. He was like, I think this was a little harsh. And I was like, well, I'm not a producer. I can't change this.
Yeah. But it was a big deal. It was a huge deal, Veep.
Yeah,
Did you feel it while you were doing that? You were becoming this iconic show.
I don't know if I ever have. Maybe it's that starving actor in me all the time that thinks someone's gonna take it away, or
right.
I never had that because our ratings on Arrested Development were never good. There's another burp.
I've had 2.
Really? Did they come out of your butt? Because I didn't see you burp.
Question. Yes.
Okay.
Oh, you burp. Oh,
I burped in my mouth.
Oh, that's so strange.
Oh, weird. That's so funny. This is a fart. That's burp. Now I've already lost what I'm talking. We're just a mess. We definitely can't do a podcast together. Anyways.
Hold that thought.
Yeah.
Tell me about your podcast.
It's held because I forgot it.
Hold that thought you lost. Hold that pause. Tell me about aren't you doing Extraordinaires?
Extraordinarians.
Extraordinarians.
And it's Kristen Shaw and Matt Oberg and we interview people who have beaten Guinness World Records.
But isn't that amazing?
Tell me about that. And so we would talk to one guy who slack-lined between 2 hot air balloons.
So
it's like this. It's kind of like a tight rope, but it's a little bit thicker. But he walked across walked, and then we talked to this other guy who got
with a parachute.
No, yeah.
Oh,
and just fascinated. And we'll talk about we'll laugh about our own fear of heights and stuff. And then we talked to them. We talked to one guy who won the competition for drinking the most hot sauce, and it's just like,
what was that person?
But here's the thing: you kind of come in going, "Here we go. This is going to be nutty." But it's super. We just talked to a woman who got the record for the longest hula hoop. She could do the hula hoop, and she was so inspiring because she's like, you know what? I got to an age when my kids were out of the house, and I saw this YouTube video of this woman hooping, working out with a hula hoop, and she says, I love that, and she just became passionate about it, and now she has this whole, they call them hoopers or something, and they conventions, and she has this whole new life of hula hooping.
More than one hoop at a time. Did she do it for you?
Yeah, I think she's done I think she can do 6 or 7 at a time. But you go and you leave inspired, and it's like, wow, these people are really, really inspiring.
How many have you done?
I think we're done maybe 9 or 10.
Are you doing them now?
Yeah. And it's really fun.
Cool.
And the thing is, even seeing you, it's just so nice. It's an opportunity just to hang out with friends and laugh. Kristen Shaw makes me laugh.
Oh, dear Lord.
So hard.
I love her so much.
She's so great. And Matt Oberg is so funny. So I to get that comedy muscle just exercised all the time with them. Oh, I remember what my dad said. I'm going back to that thought. Yeah. I remember him and he really is the sweetest man, but these things make me laugh. We were in our tuxes in the dining room. The car was going to pick us up for the Emmys because I was taking him to the Emmys. My mom and my wife were getting ready. And my dad goes, Anthony, so do you think this is going to like lead to anything? And I said, Dad, I think I've peaked. Like, I don't know. I don't think this is like, I think they might go down from here, actually. He was like, oh, okay. Really? You don't think something's going to come from this? And I was like, we're going to the Emmys, Dad. That's pretty good.
How are you at the Emmys? Be real. Be real.
Yeah, I'll tell you because I talked to my therapist about it.
Oh, good. Just the fact you introduced the therapist.
Yeah, and
good.
I would always minimize it to get through it. So I would be like, we're spinning on a planet. We're all going to die. It doesn't matter.
The we're all going to die thing always is
we're all going to die. Like people 50 years ago thought they were the shit too and they're dead. Like it's like that's where my head just to kind of because I wouldn't know how to embrace the
Those people over there don't even know who Marlon Brando is.
They don't know
so
who and by the way, he's dead.
Yeah.
So it's like my just to kind of help my anxiety of the weight I was wanting to give it.
Yeah.
And this therapist was like, Tony, when you get there, I want you to take a deep breath and look around and just look around and just keep breathing. And the cool thing about it is
it's great advice.
It's great advice, but I remember it. I remember that night.
Yeah.
I was still overwhelmed, but I have a memory of it. Whereas before, when you're minimizing and you're thinking all these narratives of
you're working so hard.
We're like, how big are we in space? Nothing. You're working so hard to protect yourself. I don't remember it.
Yeah. And the funny thing is, not a single person in that room can even see you because they're all doing the same thing. I know.
Everybody's thinking about themselves. But it's also this thing of, and then it's something that, it's a party I never thought I'd be invited to. So there's that like, wow.
And you miss that if you're trying to protect yourself. It is.
Yeah.
Little boy from Arizona. What the heck?
Totally.
Was your daddy a scientist?
He was
around now.
He was
Zoom.
I love it. He taught nuclear physics at West Point, and then he went to West Point, and then he taught nuclear physics at West Point. Very smart.
Big deal.
And then this is his child right here. Exhibit
this is
A.
My kid. He's an actor.
And have you seen his characters? The emasculated, checked out ones. That's my kid. Huh. All right.
My father was a scientist, not at that, nuclear level. But he was an archaeologist, anthropologist, and a director of a museum and a research center. And I was surrounded by scientists. But scientists do this thing where they, when they write a paper or they do whatever, it's peer review time, which means basically how you build on science is by poking holes on what the last paper that you read or something. Go, well, see, this is where they're wrong. And this is, so their eye is very critical. I'm not saying your daddy's was, but my family who were not worship, but loved me so much, all of them. And their eye always goes to, and mine does a little bit this too. I'm terrible, to find that thing that doesn't quite work. All of this is wonderful, but that thing right over there, you may want to take a look at that because that does not work.
Yeah, and that's...
Did you get that from your science father or not?
My dad was very... and I get it. Like his son wants to go into a career that doesn't have any kind of structure or any kind of plan that he understands or any... Even though... And this is why I think he was very supportive. His dad, my grandfather, was an opera singer and was in the Follies in New York.
Oh, wow.
He was one of the singers, and he was in one of his shows. He was with Jack Benny, and Vincent Minnelli directed one of his shows. And then years later, my girlfriend is Liza Minnelli on Arrested Development. Like it's really full circle. And he died when my dad was 6. And my dad's a singer, so my dad has appreciation for the arts. But it's different when you see your son all of a sudden be like, I'm moving to New York to be an actor. He's like, that framework doesn't match up. So I think to his credit, he was like, "Are you sure? Like, I have a friend who does this in Atlanta, and what about this?"
And it's out of love. I mean,
totally
it's
out of love. Yeah, 100%.
Because our kids wanted to, and then didn't want to, and I think there was a relief in Mary and myself because there is a lot of not shaming, but there's a lot of no, you're wrong. No, you're not right. No, you're wrong. That was bad.
And it never gets. I don't know about for you. Maybe it gets a little bit. It's never. You never stop feeling it.
Yeah.
I mean, I've been doing this for 30 years, and rejection. It's always stings.
How old are you, may I ask? 50 something?
I'm 54.
40, 54.
Yeah.
When you're 75, I'm 77. Mm-hmm. But when you're in those mid-70s, you become Mr. Hale. I'm Mr. Danson. And I have enough weight or just longevity of being around that people think that it'd be wrong to criticize me. They may want to, they may feel it, but you get this kind of, he's of an age, so you can't attack him.
But do you also get, I get this, do you get this, they love you. It's like, Tony, they love you.
Yeah.
It's not going to work out. But my God, they love you.
My favorite version of that was when I had to sing. We all had to sing a song, and I'm just seriously the worst singer ever. I don't even sing in the shower, but at Carnegie Mellon first week, you had to sing a song. And all my newfound friends came up after I, sang something from My Fair Lady. And I said, "Oh, Teddy, we love you." You sweet schmuck.
Oh, that makes me think of just the number of times when a film you've done or a show you've done is not received well.
Yeah.
And you get the Tony, oh my God.
Oh my God.
Yes. Good job.
Yeah.
Like, seriously, that was so great. That was so great.
You can almost live with it, but if you're doing theater and you know that it got a bad route and you have to go, get back up the next day, that's really hard.
That's hard. It's hard when people come and be like, "Congratulations.
Yeah.
You did that."
There should be a coffee table book or something.
Man, that wardrobe.
Wow.
Yeah.
How long was that?
Or this is what I would get a lot. What a beautiful show. It looks beautiful.
Yes.
I'm like, all right, what about the story?
Yeah, you were great. I just did not like anyone else in it.
Oh, yeah. That freedom of people coming up to you. I don't know if you get this a lot of like, "Man, that thing you did, I wasn't crazy about it, right?" Yeah. I'm like, I don't know why you need to tell me that.
Yeah. I just find it easy. "Oh, yeah, right? Horrible. Oof. Good to see you. Bye." Hey, I have had so much fun talking to you, just hanging out.
So nice.
Really.
Thank you for having me.
I admire you hugely, and
Same.
I do that stupid wallflower thing where who am I and now blah. No. So anyway, I'm really glad.
I love it.
Really glad.
Thanks for having me, man.
Yeah.